Sorry about that, babe.
Alright guys, welcome back to another unboxing. This time we're going to be taking a look at Wild Arms on the Sony Playstation, including a quick look at two of the strategy guides, both the official strategy guide, which we see here, as well as the unauthorized game secrets guide, which I had since my childhood. But first, let's look at the game itself. Not much to look at here in comparison to some other games, of course, but still pretty cool to take a trip down memory lane. As you can see, the crack there is from the fact that it is an original from my collection. Take a brief look at the spine here, and as we look at the back, where legends become reality. The metal demons, legendary destroyers of Filgaia, are returning. Powerless, the ancient guardians call upon three to save their once green world. A warrior who has the gunner's gift that many fear, a princess empowered by magic and an enchanted teardrop, and a rogue who claims with his sword is his word, but are his motives pure? Seek and discover the powers of the golems, elude arms, mythic weapons, and more. Encounter and survive traps like ground spikes, vanishing bridges, and falling doors. Explore an interactive world by igniting bombs, activating switches, and throwing objects. 3D combat with animated polygonal monsters and magic from multiple viewpoints. Create powerful elemental magic through experimentation and discovery. Control the fight with auto battle commands and with the new force system. And lastly, customize control functions, camera angles, cursor positions, and more. Special options include an icon-based interface and help menu. By far one of the best action RPGs of the year by Game Informer. It's not an action RPG though, it's just a regular RPG. I don't know what the fuck that's all about. It's very strange. Here you can see some of the cool screenshots that they took of the game on the back. Also a big crack again, because again, this is a childhood copy. Here you have the classic, the instruction manual is too big for a regular case, but it's only a one-disc game, as you will see. There's the map of Filgaia. Pretty cool. I also like the artwork here on the disc. It's very subtle. It's kind of slanted. I don't know. I like the color tone of it and everything. It's just really cool looking. And the disc, I didn't flip it over, is in very good shape, despite all of the freaking freezes that happened during my playthrough. Alright, and now we're going to take a look at the instruction manual. We're not going to go through every single bit, but enough. Now that you've got the game, arm yourself with the power of knowledge. Look for Wild Arms, the official strategy guide at your local software or book retailer. Buy the book, send in the subscription card, and get a free 3-month subscription to PS Extreme, the unofficial monthly PlayStation magazine. It's kind of interesting. I'm sure that number doesn't work anymore. But here is the official strategy guide that they are promoting on the back. That's weird that it's an official strategy guide in a PlayStation game, but they're offering up an unofficial PS magazine. I don't know. Anyway, looking at the instruction manual here, you're going to see lots of, typical stuff. Controller layouts, what this does, what that does, so on and so forth. But first, let's go over the legend of Filgaia. The world of Filgaia is now only a shell of what existed long before. Ages ago, under the protection of the Guardians, the world of Filgaia was a prosperous land filled with ancient and magical beings. It was a rich, green, and fertile realm. All was well with the inhabitants of Filgaia until a surprise invasion by a race of metal demons with bodies of steel robbed them of peace. In order to survive, the three races of this world banded together. The Guardians and humans fought together with the Eludes, a clever race that used technology laced with magic to rid their planet of the alien demons. Working together, they forced the metal demons to the Arctic edge of Filgaia, where they've not been since. Having helped win the war to save Filgaia, the Elude have become disenchanted by the greed and ruthlessness of the human race. They became alienated and abandoned Filgaia after seeing the rapid decline of the planet. Even though the war to save Filgaia was won, the planet suffered terribly during the battle. Shortly after the war, plants began to disappear one by one until most of the grasslands were nothing more than desert wastelands. As for the Guardians, the battle to save Filgaia drained them of their power and they were lost to the mists of time. Although some still hold faith in the Guardians, they are now considered by most to be just many legends that surround the old world. Now 1,000 years later, the war is but a memory, and slowly a new civilization is rising from the ashes. But once again, an ominous cloud hangs over the horizon. The metal demons who witnessed the collapse of their own planet, Hyades, are preparing for the moment when they could once again descend upon Filgaia and claim it as their new home. 3 brave warriors will hear the call of the mythic Guardians as they ready themselves to embark upon a journey to save their world. Each is unaware of the other's existence, as they are of their own fates. In a world brought to ruin under the merciless attack of an alien race, the wheels of fortune are about to turn. There you have the backstory of the game. And you get a pretty cool breakdown here of the characters that you control. As you can see, Rudy is just a kid. Jack is a little bit older, but I am 7 years older than Jack. That's kind of scary. Cecilia is also just a kid. Obviously the princess of Adelaide. And now, after we kind of get through that section, we sort of go back into the same old stuff, you know, saving, deleting, undeleting things, so on and so forth. Gonna go over typical stuff that you'll find throughout your playthrough, such as traversing the lands, save spots, various actions, running, lifting up objects. It's a very interactive game. There's lots of small puzzles and stuff that you could do throughout it. Tons of different field commands that you could do in and out of battle. Here, you're going to actually see on the right page there, the auto battle. It's actually kind of interesting. You could use that while you grind quite a bit. It'll be very helpful. The status heart icon gives you an overview of all of your attributes, including your luck, which you'll be checking up on a lot during the game, especially if you get the flowers. Going over the various abilities and statistics that you have as your character. It's actually a good overview because some of the stuff isn't up in your face like a typical RPG. You might be like, oh, what is RES? Is it resistance? No, it's response time. Here we're going to take a look at the tools that help you along in your quest throughout not only the dungeons, but in some towns as well. It doesn't give you all the tools though. Every character has 4 and they only show you 3. It's like the 4th one's kind of a secret or something. Now we're just showing you around town a little bit and getting into some more of the combat controls. I wouldn't say that the combat is too intensive by any means, but there are quite a few things that you can choose. One of the more interesting things is you could actually equip yourself during battle at the beginning of each turn, which is very helpful with goat dolls. And then when you engage in the attack, you have many different things you could choose from, such as like attack, defend, use your skills or your force, which they go over the first 3 forces that you get there. Abnormal statuses, yes, there's going to be a few dungeons throughout the game and stuff towards the end as well, where you're going to be status afflicted. And this is actually a very good section, mostly because of the icons. There was a few times throughout the game where I wasn't quite sure what was afflicting me, and if I would have looked here, I would have found it out. And now we're going over the guardians, which basically are the runes and the summons of the game. After that, we're going over the arms, which is unique to Rudy only. However, these special abilities continue with fast draw for Jack. There's a pretty cool artwork of Belselk going over the magic system and crest graphs, which is going to be Cecilia's main squeeze, if you will. Here we got the starting spells for both white and black magic on the following page. There's a pretty cool artwork of Siegfried. Very useful stuff. Now we're going to get over... So this is actually pretty interesting. I didn't really delve too deep into this, but there's a lot of customization you could do. You could actually like customize the entire screen, which is nuts. And apparently, you can connect a PlayStation mouse. I completely forgot about that. I did not own one of those as a kid. I feel like it didn't sell very well. They didn't promote it very much. But that's just one of the many things about Wild Arms that makes it very unique. You know, there's a whole level of almost Mario Paint-like customization that you can get into that I didn't even explore. Speaking of exploring, now we're exploring the wastelands, going over the various areas and things that you'll find throughout your game, as well as some tips and tricks that will help you along on your journey. And of course, we finish off with credits and another map of Filgaia along with a warranty. That's about that. It's a pretty good, comprehensive instruction manual for sure. Now we're going to take a look at the official strategy guide, which was referenced in the instruction manual. Really cool artwork here. This is of, I believe, when the fair got effed up by the metal demons and you had to fight Belselk. Everything was on fire. Pretty cool Alzahad there. Also, look at this. Twisted Metal 2. Best Twisted Metal in my opinion. Really cool ad. And as you can see, everything is in full color. Fairly detailed. Laid out pretty well. I would say overall I'd give this guide probably an 8 out of 10. There's a few instances of weird timings, especially towards the end, with things that they recommend that you do. Very abrupt transitions. And occasionally you will be a little confused even if you follow straightforward through this guide. But overall, very nice presentation eye-popping, etc., etc. This one is definitely the more expensive and rare guide of the bunch. However, I did have the unofficial strategy guide as a kid, and while this does cover a lot of stuff, I feel like the unofficial strategy guide ultimately is actually the better guide, although it just doesn't look as cool. This one is above and beyond cheaper, easier to find across the board, and not as nice to look at. As you can see, everything is in black and white. However, it goes over like everything you need, dude. Like each section, here are the things that you could find there. Here's the, you know, the secrets and stuff, and a lot more description, obviously, just because of that. And as you can see, there's my bookmark from my first thing as well, as well as I think there was a bill from my my college days, which was already how long ago? Jesus, I think that was from 2006 or something. But in the back, there's also like more charts and stuff, tables. It just goes over more than the official guide, but you have to get your reading glasses on for that because it's not as nicely laid out and not in color. But ultimately, I feel like you can get through the game with either or. You pick and choose, that's up to you. Pick your side. I'd probably go with the official strategy guide just because it's nicer to look at, but you know what, the other one's not a bad one either. But that's all I got here for the Wild Arms unboxing, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in another unboxing. Take care.